Valley Talk on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
Hey, welcome to Valley Talk, and it's a busy day once again at the studios. Gorgeous weather outside. You got to get outside and enjoy some of this beautiful sunshine. And, boy, take us along with you. And make sure you take us along this morning because we're going to be talking about veterans and then also later on in the show more to talk about on topics of the day. Also, John Gibson, our average investment guy, is here in the studios today. Live Well, Age Well Expo, something we're going to be talking about also towards the tail end of the show. Don't forget to sign up for Quiznos Taste on Us. We give away a $10 gift certificate every day of the show. You can enter by sending me an email, dave@kgal.com, or call the station at 926-KGAL or 451-KGAL. We take all those names to the end of the show. We draw a name out of the hat, and that lucky person will get a $10 gift certificate good at the Albany Quiznos, right next to the G.I. Joe Sporting Goods location, former G.I. Joe Sporting Goods location, and across the parking lot from Novak's Restaurants. Thanks to Dale and the crew for being a big part of the Valley Talk family here on KGAL. Something else we want to talk about is Honor Flight, One Last Mission. It's a documentary that was made of 4 World War II veterans who went on what's called an honor flight. And that is an effort to take World War II veterans back to Washington, D.C., and usually they cannot afford to do so on their own, back to Washington, D.C. to see the National World War II Memorial and see the honor that the nation has paid to what is called the Greatest Generation. Greatest Generation are the men and women who put on the armed services uniform and went overseas to fight tyranny and oppression, and it was the largest armed conflict on the planet in human history, and they stopped it. And a lot of people paid with their lives, and some of them are still paying in the PTSD and some of the issues they're dealing with. One of the things about the World War II veterans is they're getting old. They're in their mid-80s, mid-90s, and so there's a real push by the Honor Flight organization, which is a 501c3, and their mission is to make sure that these World War II veterans get back to D.C. to see the honor the nation has paid to them for making the sacrifices that they did. So they have made a documentary movie called Honor Flight, One Last Mission. And thanks to Jay Burcham, who's paid the licensing fees to show the movie locally here in Albany and Lebanon, all of the proceeds from the tickets that are sold go to pay or help pay for the sending of Willamette Valley World War II veterans on an honor flight. May 18th, we're showing this documentary at the Pix Theater in Albany, 1 p.m., and May 25th at the River Center in Lebanon. Now, we can see 200 people at the Pix in Albany, 800 at the River Center in Lebanon at $10 a ticket. We can raise enough money to send 10 World War II veterans from the Willamette Valley back on an honor flight. Tickets are now on sale right now at Burcham's Metals on Pacific Boulevard in Albany. We still have tickets available, by the way. Pix Theater in Albany and the Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce. So pick up your tickets, and if you want to make a donation to the Honor Flight program, you can. In fact, my phone was ringing off the hook before we went off the air for people that are interested in the movie. We very, very much appreciate your support of Honor Flight, One Last Mission, and ask that you consider buying a ticket, consider donating to the program, because we need just to show our support to veterans. Speaking of veterans, we also are going to be talking about first guests on the show today are Julius Stewart and Kyle Hatch, and we're going to be talking to them in just a minute about veterans issues at Oregon State University. We'll be talking about a number of things. Veterans Memorial Banquet to raise money for scholarships for veterans. There was also something that troubled a lot of veterans was with the sequester, they removed education assistance funding for some veterans. Part of that, or some of that, has been restored, as I understand. We'll find out more about that with Julius Stewart here in just a moment. But first of all, we need to talk to John Gibson, who has something he needs to get out the door and get moving on. What's going on with the stock market?
There I am.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're at all-time highs. We have some, you can't fight the Fed, for one thing. So the Fed has come out and they've said we're going to leave everything the way it is. We're going to continue to pump in $85 billion a month into the banking systems, and we're not going to change this until unemployment gets down to 7.5. So you have some security there. It's the only place that you're getting any dividend yield. The 10-year note is yielding 1.67%, and inflation's at basically 3%. So you're losing money in the bond market. So the stock market's the only place to be. And as long as we continue to have these pillars in place and we have surety of things that are going to happen, then the market's going to continue to expand. Now, we're almost through earnings season. 72% of the companies that have reported so far have beat their earnings per share number, the bottom number, but over 50% of the companies have missed on their top line, their revenue number. So you're seeing companies cutting workers, increasing productivity through machines, things like that, but they're not getting the revenue. So there's kind of a disconnect, and as long as that disconnect doesn't jump out and spark some kind of issue, then we're going to see the market continue to go higher. It's very scary because this is not sound financial functioning of a market. This is artificially constructed growth. And once they start to pull back on that $85 billion a month, then it's going to cause other people to have to come in and absorb that. And will those other investors come in and absorb that market? That's kind of the question. But right now, I'm pretty invested in the market as far as my portfolio. I did take out some stock last year. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with Obamacare and taxes and stuff like that. Clearly, that was not the right move. But that's how you function in a market. This is, when do you get off the wave? How do you know when the end of the bubble has arrived? And this is, unfortunately, an artificial bubble that we're functioning in.
You're concerned about this. We've talked about this before.
Well, when all of my investment life, I started when I was 19, so that's 1979. You always had bullets. The overnight lending rate was always at like 3% or 10%, for God's sakes, when Carter was in charge. And then if the economy slowed down or faltered, you could cut rates, and that would increase credit into the market, and that would increase growth. Well, we've been at 0% interest rates now since 5 or 6 years now, and we have no bullets. We have no reserve. And if something happens, if we have Israel bombing Syria now for good reason, but that's going to spark retaliation, and as things heat up, that creates issues.
Seems like things are heating up in the Middle East. Is that causing any repercussions yet in the stock market?
No, the market doesn't react to things until after it happens, because there's just so many things out there that it could be concerned about. And it's called climbing the wall of worry. I mean, that's what we're doing. As we go higher, things get more highly valued, it gets more tenuous, it gets more, easy to disrupt by bad news. Like, say you get a bad jobs report, and so you look at valuation. If you look at the S&P, it normally trades around 15 or 16 times earnings, meaning, it takes 15 years if it just stays the way it is to get your money back. Well, it's below that, so it's undervalued right now. So it has room to grow, and it is. That's why it's going up. But the more it goes up, then the easier it is to crack that, and then you have those little corrections. That's why when you look at a chart, a 30-year chart of the Dow, you don't see a straight line. You see a jagged line, and if you can time that, then you're a rich man. But it's a very hard thing to do. And like, for instance, I held Google for 5 years. I owned it at $724 a share. It got all the way down to $333 a share. It climbed back to $700. I wanted to buy a house, so I sold my Google shares and I bought a house. Now Google's at $845. Had I held it, I'd have had a lot more money. But that's the market. And so that's why small investors, we feel like we don't have an equal shot, because you have these huge companies making trades that are 1/1,000,000th of a second. These high frequency traders.
Right.
Man, they can spark a market move hard. And if you're a little guy like me, you're hanging on. And so it gets scary for small people in the market. And we're talking veterans. Let's not forget the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
They live mostly on CDs, on fixed income assets. So you're getting like 1% on your CD, and interest and inflation is 3%. This fiscal policy is crushing the elderly population, and nobody talks about that. You know, I feel very sorry for people that have worked hard all their life, and they have all their money in a CD, and they're getting less than what inflation is. This is not the economic growth that I'm used to.
It's not the American dream that we've all...
No. It's based on fiscal policy that,
Yeah, I'd like to continue talking about this, but we've got a lot of ground to cover today. Anything else we need to visit?
No. I
Okay.
appreciate it. The market's going up. Be happy and enjoy the weather.
And we've got another show. We'll tease you a little bit. John was talking about a guest that we're going to bring in on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't want to tell. Maybe the guest doesn't know that what we're thinking about.
Well, he's
Very
not. Look,
interesting
this
guest.
is a guy who was the head watchman for the San Francisco Police Department. Wound up in Reagan's security team. Wound up in South America catching bad guys, which he can't talk about. He's also responsible for the handicap parking program. It started off as a veterans program, and it turned out to be just for anyone that's handicapped. This guy also was on the Atomic Veterans Club. He remembers atomic bombs being set off, having his hands over his eyes, seeing the bones in his fingers. So this guy's 80 years old. This is a wealth of information, and we need to get him on the air.
Yeah,
So-
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
For a future show, listen for promos. John, thank you very much. We know you need to get going, so have a great day.
All right, see you
Let's turn the page here and let's talk to Julie Stewart, who is, she has a title that's about as long as the width of an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper. But let's suffice it to say she represents veterans on the student government. Is that sufficient?
Correct.
Okay. What is your title, just so you can hear it?
My title rather, is the Associated Students of Oregon State University Task Force Director of Veterans Affairs.
And that means?
And that means I represent all student veterans within the student government at Oregon State University.
Also, we have Kyle Hatch. Do you have a very long title, too?
I don't. However, I'm part of two different groups. So I'm the treasurer of the Veterans and Family Student Association, and I'm also the president of Omega Delta Sigma, which is part of the National Veteran Fraternity.
Thank you for being with us on Valley Talk. Let's talk to something that I know a lot of veterans were concerned about, is losing educational assistance because of the sequester. That was taken away as they just chopped everything across the board. And we could talk for hours about the wisdom of doing that. But one of the things that was cut was educational assistance for veterans. I know a lot of veterans were upset about it. Julie, what's going on there now?
So initially, the Department of Defense issued a memorandum of understanding that was just undoable for universities. But the mission of the memorandum of understanding was to create a transparency between the universities and the Department of Defense to ensure that our military personnel are getting their education that is being paid for through their benefits.
A lot of them signed up to the military to get those benefits.
Correct. And so when they come to the university, they expect to get those benefits and to get through their programs, and that was the initial intent. So Congress came down on the Department of Defense and said, you need to come up with something that's more doable. And so the Department of Defense did, and through that memorandum of understanding that had a deadline of March 1st, after several emails and contacts through students at Oregon State University that heard about this from their commands and expressed a concern about losing their tuition assistance. The Veterans Council at Oregon State University got together and tackled this head on to make sure that the military personnel we have, so active duty, reserves, National Guard, that would be affected by this tuition assistance withdrawal would be around over 100 students would have been affected directly. So this is separate from other veterans benefits that some students do get through the university and through Veterans Affairs. But it was a huge concern. So we all got together and...
Did it affect all veterans, or was it just a segment?
Right, just a segment, but it was significant. You know, if it affects one, I mean, they're currently serving, or reservists or National Guardsmen, they expect those benefits to be there, and we should have them there for them. And so the universities were required to step up and sign this by March 1st. And if they didn't, they would be excluded from all future conversations regarding tuition assistance. So it was important for Oregon State University to step up and to sign that, even though the sequester did happen, but it does provide for the students that we currently have.
Did any students actually lose money and have a problem in their education because of this temporary withdrawal of the funds?
Only through anxiety, I'm sure. And is it going to happen? You know, they came to me and were questioning me, you know, and concerned. Are they going to take this away? Should I go ahead and register? And I told them just to go forward like everything was fine, that it's going to be there, because we were going to work hard to make it happen.
A lot of them were angry too, weren't they?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
Yes.
If I was toting a gun in Afghanistan or Iraq, and all of a sudden I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, this is why I'm over here. I'm over here to put in my time, do my tour, you know, serve my country. But part of what I signed up for was, when I get out of here, if I survive, I want to be able to get an education so I can get a job and provide for my family. So you're over there in Iraq toting a gun on patrol, and you're going, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for.
Correct. We had some students that actually came and testified before our Senate and telling their stories. You know, listen, I served my country. Now, where are you guys? Are you going to support us? You know, supporting our military personnel and our veterans is a lot more than just putting a magnet on the back of your car. You know, you have to give them tangible resources that, you know, you've promised them. And so OSU responded. They heard their voices, and so now those funds are there for them.
And they, from the federal government, did OSU replace those funds, or did the federal government put them back in?
So the federal government, the Department of Defense, will fund the tuition assistance for the students that are currently enrolled in the program. So, yes, they're
And the
there.
future is the future. We don't
The
really
future is, we really hope and pray that the economy picks up and that they'll open that up again to, you know, all other incoming military personnel.
Now, one of the culture of the military, and I've worked a lot, I'm not a veteran, but thank you for the service to your country. If you're a veteran listening, thank you for the service to yours. Done a lot of work for veterans organizations, helped Victor Coons with Vets Helping Vets HQ. We had an outreach that I did before I even came to Bend, called Operation Eagle's Wings, telling the story of veterans, and telling the story of veterans before they become a news story. What triggered us to do this was hearing stories of veterans coming back with PTSD and having an issue, and people get hurt. So what's going on here? We delved deeper into the story, found this huge issue going on underneath, and so we started this Eagle's Wings outreach, which is looking for veteran stories, looking for just what we're talking about. But reason I'm leading up to something here, so bear with me. One of the culture of the military is we leave no one behind.
Correct.
And that's a culture of the American military. If somebody gets injured out there in patrol, we don't leave our buddy behind. In other words, we've got your six. And we've got your back. We've got your six. Could you explain what that means?
You just don't leave anyone behind, just as you stated. I don't know, Kyle might have a better explanation of that. I served in aviation in the Navy, and so I did not personally see combat. I did have other traumas that I experienced, but the whole mentality throughout the branches, it's a cohesive code that permeates and is palpable between all the branches, that we've got each other's back, that you don't leave each other behind. And you can, you know, meet a veteran on the street and not know them, or, you know, but reach out to them just based on that relationship.
Now, we got your six means that if you're in aviation or a combat fighter pilot, for example, somebody's coming up from your 6 o'clock, that means they're coming up underneath you and you can't see them. So saying we've got your six is we've got your underbelly. We're watching your back. And so when you hear a veteran say, you know, we've got your six, I mean, that's what they're talking about. So just in case people hear that and think, what does that mean? That's what that means. Love the culture of the military, and so, we've got your back. And so the military people go over there with this culture of we're covering you. You're on patrol. We will not leave you alone on the field of battle. We will come get you. And so they come back here saying, this is how we served our country. And the country that trained them to have this culture, when they come back and the country is doing that to them, that's a problem. And I feel very strongly about that. And we can't do that. We can't do to this generation what we did to the Vietnam vet. Right. You may not agree with why they're over there, but you need to cover them, because some of the people, especially in Vietnam, were drafted. They didn't have a choice. Right. They had to go over, so we got to take care of them. So the funding issue, anything that we want to talk about again that we haven't covered yet? After I got off my soapbox.
The tuition assistance, I think we're waiting, we're waiting for all of that to open up for the Department of Defense to, like you said, have our military's back, because right now we don't, for new incoming students, which is wrong, it's just wrong. They need to have those funds available.
Kyle, you want to add anything?
The only thing that I could add, the Student Veterans of America, which is a group that was started a few years back, they're actually housed in D.C. Michael Dakduk, who's the executive director of the Student Veterans of America, he's going to be out here for our banquet May 24th. They started a campaign of Got Your Six campaign, and they're actually working with different chancellors to have the different universities that fall under the chancellor to actually take a hold of the university and make sure that the universities take care of veterans, from transitioning programs from active duty to college and civilian life, to actually providing programs to help them in their education as well. So that's something that's new and upcoming. So.
All right. Another thing that we want to talk about is the Veterans Memorial Banquet, raise money for scholarships. Julia, you want to touch base on that?
Yes. So the Veterans Council has come together and through a whole atmosphere at Oregon State University this year in supporting veterans. Our numbers doubled at OSU when we pulled out of Iraq, and we're pulling out of Afghanistan in 2014. And so our numbers are going to increase greatly again. And so in lieu of our support for veterans, one of the things that the Veterans Council has come up with this year is to institute a student veteran scholarship fund for student veterans, any kind of student veteran. So you don't have to be, active or reserve or ROTC. We really want to reach out to any veteran that is working towards improving their lives through education. And so on May 24th, we're holding a Memorial Day banquet, as Kyle mentioned, and we're going to be remembering our fallen veterans in battle. We're going to be having a banquet dinner, a formal banquet, where the ticket sales will go towards that scholarship fund, and there will also be a silent auction. And so we're also looking to the community to contact us at OSU if they're interested in supporting veterans in a different way, and donating products or services or anything like that we can use in raising those funds in the silent auction as well.
What's the biggest issue for veterans right now that you interface with?
I think at the university level, it's transitioning, it's a really different environment for different kinds of veterans. So we have a lot of veterans that are still years later making that transition from an active duty military lifestyle or to a combat lifestyle, or maybe they've suffered military sexual trauma in the military, which is another issue. But coming back and doing things, everyday humdrum things, and being, flooded with so many choices when previously you were in a situation where, the military tells you what to do every minute of every day. And you come to enjoy that as kind of like a parental security, to guide you.
It's a safety net.
Yeah, through your day. And it's gone. It's taken away from you. And all recognition for your efforts is gone and taken away as well.
That's a huge culture shock, isn't it?
It is very huge. My first year at Oregon State University, I hid on the 6th floor of the library. I'd just go up there and I would hide. It was a quiet floor. I would go to class and I would just do my homework and everything. And I didn't interact because the university, everyone's in their own building and it's so disconnected, and you don't have, your unit or your squadron there, with you every day. And it's a very different experience. Even like I transferred from a community college to Oregon State University, and so it was a really big experience. Shocking.
Yeah.
Change.
She's touched on something. We'll have to bring you back on the show again and talk about issues. There's a lot of them out there. One of the things and as I've covered the veteran story, one of the things a lot of things was surprising to me. One of them was the occurrence of MST, which is called military sexual trauma, which, if we just use the word, is raped. A lot of women are raped in the military. And we won't go into just what's going on there, but it's a crime. It shouldn't happen, and it does. And there's a lot of women that suffer from that. But what was interesting to me was I interviewed a woman in Bend who was a homeless veteran, female veteran, who was the victim of MS, military sexual trauma. And one thing she loved was the culture of the military, was that there's this big familial, and she come from a dysfunctional family, went into the military and found a home, found a family, found somebody that's got your back, and I'll look out for you. Obviously, she had a situation where that trust was violated horrifically, but she still liked that familial feeling of being in a defined, I'll cover your back. And when she got out of the military, that was, where's my family? And so she hooked up with organizations in the Bend area. There's a number of military organizations out there that are after, like Band of Brothers is one. In Oregon, in Bend, Oregon, there's another very active group called Central Oregon Veterans Outreach, or COVO, and they really help homeless veterans. So there's a lot that needs to happen to take care of veterans. And some of the critics are saying, well, veterans, you have to understand that there's still a lot of other issues out there that we have to take care of. I understand that. But you also have to understand that we've got to take care of our veterans, because you have to understand that's the culture that we train them in. And then when they open the door and say, okay, there's your life, good luck, that doesn't work well for a lot of them, because that's not what they're used to.
No, that doesn't work well. In fact, some folks in our community here in the Willamette Valley have responded to that through the Military Families Conference that's coming up in Cannon Beach for military couples from May 31st to June 2nd. There are 50 couples family scholarships available, where the couples would just be coming up with $100 for this entire weekend. There's childcare, everything, and this is from a spiritually based, and there's no prerequisites as far as religion or denomination or anything like that. And this is a community of military ministries reaching out from a spiritual perspective for families and giving them support in dealing with PTSD and combat trauma and military sexual trauma. And it's also open to our police and firefighters and EMTs as well, because they also experience traumas in their professions. And it's just really important, I think, through our community to reach out and to support and be a friend, befriend veterans, and let's demystify that whole relationship between the military and civilians. And Branches of Valor is doing an excellent job in providing this for this weekend retreat to just get away with your family, and to just reconnect. I think reconnecting is really a hard thing, coming back from a military culture, and getting to know your spouse and your children again, and so
That's a big issue because some of these guys are out there for 4 or 5 tours of duty, and a decade later when they're coming home, these people are, I hate to use the word for these people, but they're different. Their experiences that have gone through over there have changed them for the rest of their life. So what happens a lot of time is John comes home from maybe a couple tours, and his wife says, "Man, I don't know you anymore. I knew you when you left, but you're not the same John that I married." And that causes a huge problem in marriages. And in the middle of the night, maybe a car backfires, maybe they're driving down the street and there's a Dixie cup or a McDonald's cup there.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they jerk off the road because maybe a mouse ran across the road and they're thinking IED.
right.
So it's a big deal. We need to help these families.
It is a big deal.
Kyle, you want to add something?
That's a complete understatement. I mean, being a combat veteran, going over there, that's something that all of us deal with. There's certain things that we deal with every day, being hypervigilant as a result of a backfire of a car, or seeing trash and completely going around that as a result of the experiences that you had in either Iraq or Afghanistan. I've been out since 2008, and that's something I still avoid. But there is a lot that needs to be done for veterans and their families.
We want to have you back on the show again. Is there something that we need to talk about here that we haven't visited about yet?
Perhaps we could dive a little bit more into the event for May 24th.
Go ahead.
So May 24th, the banquet, all proceeds will be going to this Allworth Holcomb Memorial Scholarship, which will be to award ideally a few veterans at Oregon State University a scholarship yearly. The event will be $25 for those who are interested in attending. It will include the basics, ceremonial things for Memorial Day. We'll have the setting of the POW table by our ROTC unit, posting of the colors, national anthem. We have a pretty good group coming out to do that. We'll have Michael Dakduk from the Student Veterans of America come out as a keynote. We'll have Cameron Smith, who is the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs Director there, as another keynote. So it'll be a good event. That event will be from 6 to 8 p.m. on May 24th.
Okay. We need to get to the Live Well, Age Well Expo, and we have Jill Ingalls, I believe, in our studio, and we'll be talking to her in just a moment. Honor Flight, One Last Mission, don't forget about that. By the way, we do have some posters, and we can email those to you with PDF, and if you want to get those printed and help send those out, you can. Just send me an email, dave@kgal.com, and we can send you our PDF. If you've seen their beautiful posters, Angela at Bertram's Metals put these together,
That's
and
beautiful.
they're just gorgeous. Honor Flight, One Last Mission, May 18th, 1 p.m. at the Pix Theater in Albany, May 25th, River Center in Lebanon. Tickets are $10 each. Honor Flight, One Last Mission is a documentary about 4 World War II veterans from the Midwest that went back to D.C. on an honor flight, and what this journey meant to them, and how it provided some healing, as they're reliving their experiences in World War II with their buddies that didn't come home. And some of the World War II veterans are still suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress. And anyway, so what we're trying to do here is raise money to send more World War II veterans from the Mid-Willamette Valley back on an honor flight to Washington, D.C. while they're still alive. Again, remember, a lot of these vets are mid-80s, mid-90s, and we're losing about 1,000 of them every day. So there is a push on with the Honor Flight Organization, which is a 501c3. There's about 114 hubs throughout the country where they coordinate and raise funds and so on and so forth. There's one in Bend, Oregon. There's one in Eugene. Mike Punjakar puts a lot of effort into this. And there's scores of other volunteers. I'm sorry if I don't mention your name, but you know why you're doing it. So let's support this, folks. We need to do it. And you can buy tickets at Bircham's Metals in Albany, the Pix Theater, Albany, Lebanon Area Chamber of Commerce. Again, the date's May 18th at the Pix, May 25th at the River Center in Lebanon, and both showings at 1 p.m. Julie Stewart and Kyle Hatch, we'd love to have you back on Valley Talk again, where we can devote some more time to the veterans issues.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we're going to take a break right here. And by the way, if you want to send me an email, then I can send you some honor flight flyers so you can print them off and get them up. That's great. Send me an email, dave@kgal.com. We're going to take a break. And in a minute, we're going to be talking about Live Well, Age Well Expo coming up. Don't go away.
Do you keep things like this too?
Okay, I guess we're not going to go away. Okay, station, if you're hearing me, we're not initiating our break here, so this is live radio. Isn't it fun?
Awesome. It's fun.
I heard a joke once about these. Never mind. So thank you for being with us on the show today. I guess we're not taking a commercial break right now. That's something I need to fix. One of the things I do is fix things around here, so I'll add that to my list. Military Families Conference is May 31st to June 2nd. A weekend getaway for veterans, active duty, first responders, their spouses, and their kids. Do you have a contact information or number for people that want to find information from you?
Yes. So if you could contact the Eugene office of Branches of Valor at 541-345-3458, and just express your interest in signing up for this wonderful weekend at Cannon Beach with your spouse or your partner and your children, so that you can relax and just be supported and learn about resources here in Oregon that would be really supportive of your service and just be a great resource to healing, because that's where we really, really need to respond to our military and our veterans, is to be part of that healing.
All right, hang on just a second. I guess we're not taking a break here. Tell you what we need to do. We need to transition. Jill, you want to come on in here? And folks, this is what it sounds like when we're taking a commercial break, but you'll hear it today because we're not taking a break. Thank you for being with us on the show today. Jill, come on in. This is what we call live radio. And sometimes, this is just like in the old days when they did the live thing, and sometimes things happened.
Sure.
I kind of like it because what happens now, there's so many pre-produced elements and everything's automated and so on and so forth. It all looks very sterile on the outside. But every once in a while, when you're doing something live, something doesn't happen like it's supposed to.
Well, you just have to punt.
So we're punting. Hey, thank you for being with us on the show. Tell us about Live Well, Age Well Expo.
Live Well, Age Well Expo is coming up on May 18th, Saturday, at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center. It runs from 9 to 3 for the full day, and it's chock full of resources for people, well, my age, 50 and up. Anyone who... That's nice.
You don't look that old.
You're so good. Yes.
50 is the new 30.
50 is the new 30.
Isn't that right?
So I think we should expand our demographic on this event.
Yeah, let's go run around the building a couple times.
Sure. That'll be the new 60. Yeah.
There you go.
So it's really targeted at people that are looking at growing old gracefully, thriving into their senior years, someone who may be looking at retirement and getting ready to make a graceful exit from their employer. Also, we are targeting people that are finding themselves caring for an elderly loved one, which is something we're seeing more and more of.
Yeah.
So the day is full of demonstrations, presentations, exhibitors with information about all of those things. It's a fun day.
I love the title of it, Live Well, Age Well.
Exactly.
In 4 words, it says what you're trying to do.
It does. It says it all. Every once in a while, we'll add the little line, Health Expo, so people kind of understand there's some health providers involved as well. There's lots of health screening.
Admission is free parking.
Yes.
Easy area, drop off there at the front of the Expo building.
Right. There's a pull-up right there at the entrance. So if people are coming in chairs or just have a little bit difficulty traveling that distance across that parking lot, there's an easy pay.
Plenty of seating. Bring the whole family. What else? I guess what time does it start?
9 o'clock.
Okay. Excuse me, folks. This is normally what we do in transition during the commercial break, so we're doing it now. So at 9:30 on the first morning is when it starts. Is this May 18th? So it's a one-day event, 9 to 3.
9 to 3. Just a one-day shot to get all this information.
Tease us with what some of the exhibitors are.
Some of the exhibitors, of course, that's people I just set aside. But.
I do the same thing.
Okay.
Especially
I have cheat
today.
sheets, but this is good. Well, we have Bimart Pharmacy will be there. Costco Wholesale will be there with their hearing aid and hearing unit. HealthNet Medicare Advantage will be there. The Lynn Benton Housing Authority, Northwest Bath Systems, Queen Bee Organizing. She'll be doing a presentation as well. The Soto Law Firm is one of our sponsors. Corvallis Clinic, Volunteer Caregivers, Willamette Manor Assisted Living. Now I'm just going randomly in my list here. The Advanced Chiropractic will be doing a screening as well. So there's about 50 exhibitors total with all sorts of different products and supplies for all sorts of different levels of need.
Okay. Let's take a break right now. I've been told back by the main studio, the mothership, as it were, that they're ready to push the button. So let's take a break. We'll be right back on Valley Talk.
Albany Domino's, your pizza delivery experts, has new offers. 1 medium 2-topping pan pizza for just $7.99. Or a 2 medium 2-topping pizza for only $5.99 each. Or 2 medium 2-topping pizzas for only $5.99 each. Minimum of 2 items. And a large 3-topping for just $7.99. And a large 3-topping for just $7.99 each. Monday through Wednesday. Order now online at Domino's.com. Or call 541-917-3344 for takeout or delivery. Your locally owned Albany Domino's. 1901 Pacific Boulevard Southeast. Your pizza delivery experts. Steve Holy brings his pop country sound live in concert to the Lake County Fairgrounds, Saturday, July 20th.
Good morning, beautiful.
Concert is free with your general admission ticket. Limited reserve seating is just $15.
That was wonderful. I got a brand new girlfriend.
Steve Holy. Go online to LynnCountyFair.com to purchase your tickets today.
To LA for the weekend.
It happens all the time. It's a beautiful summer day, that time of year when you spend a lot of time outside the house, when you and your guests notice that the house needs a fresh coat of paint. Don't wait until the outdoor season is well underway. Call Halcyon Painting now. The professionals at Halcyon Painting are in great demand from May through September, which is the prime outdoor painting season. And early booking will ensure that your paint job will be scheduled this summer. Why not call right now for your non-obligation proposal? Halcyon Painting will give you a complete description of all work to be done in writing, together with a firm price. Don't wait until you have to settle for just anyone to paint your home or business. Call Halcyon Painting at 752-7251. Mention this ad after accepting the bid and get $50 off the job. With Halcyon Painting, every job carries a written warranty. Beat the rush. Call now. 752-7251. Halcyon Painting.
Quail Run Assisted Living at Mennonite Village is designed to accommodate the changing needs of its residents. Private studio and one-bedroom apartments with kitchenettes combine convenience and comfort with 24-hour availability of personal assistance and support. Private studio and one-bedroom apartments come with 3 farm-fresh meals served daily in the central dining room. Housekeeping, transportation, and a variety of activities and personalized services to help each resident live a happy, rich life among friends. A wide range of social and wellness programs are offered to meet individual interests, including outdoor gardening, shopping and day trips, scenic walks, cooking and baking, art and music. Mennonite Village is where you'll find superior standards and amazing levels of devotion. The proof is in their reputation and resident satisfaction. One-bedroom and studio apartments are currently available. Call Crystal at 541-928-1122, 928-1122, or visit MennoniteVillage.org.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit AutoOwners.com. This is Charles Osgood. Do you remember when doctors made house calls? I do. When we were kids, Dr. Niblett would come by when we got sick with his black bag, check us out with his stethoscope, tell us to stay in bed, take the next school day off. He had a great laugh that made you feel better just to hear it. Well, that was a long time ago. But now there are a few doctors who will make house calls. Veterinarians, mostly, says our CBS News colleague, Brigad Shaban.
They make house calls, making it easier for owners and their pets.
Dogs and cats get nervous in a waiting room and the examining room, too, says Vet Karen Hurd.
They're more willing to accept you and to put up with a little bit of discomfort if their surroundings are familiar.
The story after this. Why turn to a trusted choice agency for your insurance needs? Because a trusted choice insurance agency is an independent advocate that works for your interest, not for any one company. That allows them to find the coverage, the company, and the price to fit your needs. They pledge to treat you as a person, not a policy. When you're looking for a trusted friend in the industry for home, auto, life, or business insurance, turn to Trusted Choice. Visit trustedchoice.com today. Every day, it seems, there's something new your smartphone can do. Now, it can open and close your garage door from anywhere in the world. With a LiftMaster garage door opener with MyQ technology, you can use your smartphone or computer to control your garage door from anywhere, anytime, like right now. And LiftMaster garage door openers with battery backup keep your garage door working even if the power isn't. Find a dealer near you at liftmaster.com. Go ahead, look it up on your smartphone. Jeffrey Newell has 6 cats. A cat seems to know when you're about to take it to the vet, he says.
You gotta hunt down the cat, pull it out from under the bed. The cat doesn't want to go. Little scratches, get little battle wounds trying to get them in there.
Time to call Dr. Hurd, even though it does cost more, says Brigad Shaban.
A house call cost Lola's owners an extra $100 over a regular office visit. But Newell says the convenience is worth it. It seems like kind of a no-brainer. More and more owners are opting for house calls. Dr. Hurd's practice has more than doubled in the last year.
Some of the most common house calls are for regular checkups and routine vaccines. But vets say they can provide just about any service, with a few exceptions.
Surgery or anything that requires a general anesthetic can't really be done in the house call setting.
Some vets say that house calls are a particularly good option for very young and also very old pets who may not have the best immunity to fight off the diseases that can be circulating in a doctor's office. The Osgood File. I'll see you online at Facebook, Twitter, and at theosgoodfile.com. This is Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
The Corvallis OSU Symphony Orchestra performs the final concert of this, their 107th season, Tuesday night, May 21st, 7:30 at the LaSalle Stewart Center. There's no need to travel to hear the finest in classical music. For over a century, the Corvallis OSU Symphony has provided quality performances right here in the Valley. This year's final performance will feature Symphony No. 5 by Gustav Mahler. Considered to be one of the monuments of classical music, it was a declaration of love to the woman he would soon marry. Marlon Carlson will direct. Tickets are available in advance at Grace Winds Music and Grassroots Books and Music in Corvallis. Also available online at cosusymphony.org. If you haven't attended a performance this season, if you've never been, come enjoy the Corvallis OSU Symphony season finale. Tuesday night, May 21st, 7:30 at the LaSalle Stewart Center on the OSU campus.
When you look out across the Willamette Valley, you'll see plenty of banking choices. Willamette Community Bank is here to give you an option that's pretty unique, like no other, in fact. Hi, this is Sue Kalina, Relationship Manager. Willamette Community Bank provides an alternative to large national and regional banks by offering customized financial services and local decision-making to benefit local people, local families, and local businesses. How many banks can say that?
Willamette Community Bank, service like no other. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Well, I like to see what the farmers brought from the fields around to the market lot. Seems every week it's a different crop down at the farmers market. Down at the farmers market, the best berries and cherries you've ever seen. Sweet corn, tomatoes, peaches and beans, and cider and pumpkins for Halloween. Down at the farmers market. down at the farmer's market.
The Corvallis Albany Farmers Markets are now open Saturday in the City Hall parking lot at 4th and Ellsworth in downtown Albany, and every Wednesday and Saturday on the north end of the riverfront in downtown Corvallis. Enjoy live music and a large variety of locally grown farm products. For more information, log on to locallygrown.org.
At the farmer's market, friends and neighbors gather round. At the farmer's market, see what can be found. There's fruit from the orchards and produce from the ground. And you can meet the folks who grew it when the farmers come to town.
See you there.
Be calm. It's Lily Yogini Yoga Studio, and your whole family is invited to our grand open house celebration this Saturday at 6 p.m. in downtown Lebanon. Lily Yogini brings the benefits of yoga, massage, and meditation. At our grand opening, there will be free yoga, live music, dessert, prizes, and special gifts for Mom. Call me at 541-570-8267. That's 570-8267.
Ah, Lily Yogini.
Yes, Lily Yogini Yoga Studio's grand open house celebration this Saturday.
Now, for a limited time, save $20 on the complete transmission flush and get great savings, too, on a flush of your cooling system at Canega Tire Factory. While you're there, ask about rebates of up to $80 on trusted brands of tires from Hankook, Nokian, Cooper, and Goodyear. You've trusted Canega to keep you and your family on the road, and Canega services just get better and better. From tires to struts, brakes to free battery checks, even propane for your barbecue and RV. Still at the Y in Lebanon, the place to buy your tires and more is still Canega Tire Factory.
This is Rich Abers, Service Manager at Power Buick GMC, and I'm here to tell you that not only is Power Buick GMC the #1 local dealership to purchase a new or used vehicle, we are your General Motors service headquarters. Our GM-trained and ASE-certified technicians service Buick, Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, Hummer, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, and Saturn vehicles. In or out of warranty. Extended warranties, no problem. Cars not GM built, no problem.
Call Power today at 541-757-1415 on the corner of 5th and Buchanan in Corvallis.
The event to help you live well and age well. Returning to the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center, May 18th from 9 to 3. Great music, fun demonstrations, healthy screenings with experts to guide you along, and fun for the entire family. Free admission and lots of prizes. 50 and older, looking forward to a healthy future? You'll find the answers and resources to help you thrive at the Live Well and Age Well Expo, Saturday, May 18th. Lynn County Fair and Expo Center, presented by the Senior Services Foundation and Samaritan Health. For more information, go to agingwellexpo.org.
Health Talk with Dr. Bob Martin. Sunday mornings on News Talk 1580, KGAL.
We're back on Valley Talk after an extended absence. We had to catch our breath a little bit. Thank you to Ryan for helping us out there. We're talking with Jill Ingalls with Live Well, Age Well Expo. Let's talk about some of the demonstrations that are going to be happening at the Live Well, Age Well Expo, which again is next Saturday.
Saturday, May 18th.
May 18th.
Yes, yes. So we have both demonstrations and presentations. Not to be confused, but demonstrations will happen out on the main stage, and things like welcome waggers, the dogs that are therapy pets will be there doing a demo. Albany Fire Department is going to talk about home fire safety, and they'll have some of the apparatus there to tour as well. Zumba Gold, learn all about the Zumba craze for exercise, and this is really targeted at people a little older or with some injuries or things like that. And then presentations include everything from downsizing and getting organized, ID theft, protecting yourself from that's happening more and more. And then we'll end up the day with Cover Oregon and the Department of Human Services Health Insurance Exchange. We'll be doing a talk about exactly what's coming up for 2014, how that's going to affect especially small business owners, small employers, and looking at how that might be impacted by Medicare. And there will be somebody from the Medicare office there as well, giving that information.
Again, the event is free of charge.
Yes, it is.
Let's mention where it's at once again.
It is at the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center in Albany, in the Willamette Hall.
Okay. And, it's for all ages, really. So
it is.
It could be that you have a mother or father that's getting up there, and you might want to look into some of the resources available for them. So
absolutely, it'll be great for everybody, good for the whole family. There's activities like the Master Garden is open all day with demonstration garden. Everybody can enjoy that as well.
Alrighty. Your website or Facebook page for more info?
agingwellexpo.org.
agingwellexpo.org.
Yep, you got it.
I've enjoyed this in the past and look forward to doing it again this year.
Yes, we'll see you
there. This is
there.
an annual event here, isn't it?
It is 9 years.
Okay. This is Valley Talk. Listen for promos, and we have coming up on the show tomorrow. We've had a little bit of a, I don't know what to call it, the technical difficulties, and so I can't pull up the schedule for tomorrow's show, but just keep listening for promos. We appreciate your listening to the show. If you have comments you'd like to talk about, send me an email, dave@kgal.com. Enjoy the sun. Bye-bye.
Around the clock, around the world. Your first choice for information is News Talk 1580, KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.